You've got a smoking hot land lead, a land seller that wants to basically give you this big piece of property, this big piece of American soil to you, but there are five things. There are five things that you need to really watch out for and make sure you're not making these five mistakes before you buy that land. Check this out. Hey guys, it's Brent Daniels, and again, I am back to talk about something that I am really passionate about, which is vacant land. You might ask, why are you passionate about that, Brent? There's apartments, there's houses, there's commercial properties, there's big buildings. Why do you care about land? I care about land, one, because nobody else does. Nobody else goes after it. Go to your local real estate investor association or your meetup group or whatever seminars you're going to and have everybody raise their hand when they specialize in land. It does not happen. I'm telling you, if you're looking to go buy land for yourself, just for your family, or just to build a portfolio, that's phenomenal. If you can flip land, you can do seller financing on land. There's so many opportunities for land. It is absolutely bananas. But I'm going to caution you on five things that you need to check out so that you're not making a huge error when it comes to purchasing land. These are all things that I've gone through. These are all things that I've had to learn the hard way, but I want to give them to you so that you don't have to go through those bumps and bruises. Maybe some of you will anyway, but I'm trying to help you avoid that. Number one, especially when it comes to really inexpensive pieces of land. I'm talking you can get acres for $50, $100, $200, $1,000. Now listen, if you think that this is unreal, this happens every single day for us. Every single day in our business, we get prices like this at $20 an acre. Now, are they in the middle of nowhere? Absolutely. Are there certain filters that we put them through to make sure that this is a viable piece of land that we can either flip or hold and do seller financing? Absolutely. But the first thing that I want you to do, and typically this happens when it's lower price, because when it's lower price, most people don't run it through the title company, because title companies typically cost on a minimum of $700 or $800. Well, if you're buying something for $50 or $200, why would you spend another $800 to make sure that it goes to the title company? Well, here's the thing. You need to make sure you check the title report on the property, because for a couple different things. Believe it or not, people will sell you land, even if it's $50 or $200, that they don't own, okay? They will tell you that they own it, and it might look like they own it, but they don't own it. They're not on title anymore. Either they deeded it to somebody else or they've sold it 15 times for $200, right? It happens. I'm telling you, this happens when you don't go through a title company. So number one, I highly suggest you go through a title company. Now, if financially it doesn't make sense, you can check your title. You can get the title report checked through different sources online. What I would suggest you do is go to Upwork.com and post an ad that says, I need the title checked. Some people work for title companies and on the side, they pull title. I don't know if they're supposed to. I don't know if it's against their business or regulations or whatever. I don't know, but they do, okay? Some people have access to be able to pull title reports, but pull title reports, okay? Pull the title report, make sure that the owner is actually there, that the owner actually owns the property, and you want to look out for any crazy liens that they have on the property. You can give somebody $200, they can give you the deed to the property, and but they still owe multiple thousands or hundreds of dollars on the property because it wasn't paid off. That's essentially what the title company does. Title company makes sure that when the title transfers from the old owner to you, that everything is paid off and there's no what's called clouds on title. I don't know why I did that, but it seemed appropriate for that measure, for that moment. Number two, you got to check the property taxes owed. Now you can do this with the tax assessor in your county. Okay, you can do this with the tax assessor in your county, or maybe there's some online resources that you can find in your county to be able to put in the APN number of the piece of land. All that is the assessor parcel number. That's what APN means. Don't worry about it. It's just kind of verbiage if you want to reach out to the tax assessor and ask them, because they will ask you for the APN number. Typically, it is an 8-digit number. It's pretty easy to see, and just make sure that you get that when you're looking at a specific piece of property. But make sure that you see if there's any back taxes, because that is going to have to be paid. Because eventually at some point, and especially if you're in some of these states like California, people can literally take the property from you if you owe property taxes. Because what the state does is they sell their liens, the property tax lien. If you don't pay property taxes, you get a lien on the property. They sell that to individuals or to companies, and then you have to pay off those people. So make sure that you understand how much money is owed in property taxes. It's absolutely critical. We're getting real technical here, but I feel like this audience is following me on a lot of these things. I've got a really educated audience, so I think you should be bearing with me. But if you do have questions about it, ask them down below. Love to answer those for you. 3, you got to call the zoning department. Okay, it's easy. Google it. Zoning department for whatever county. Make sure you call these people. First of all, in my experience, these people are phenomenal. They're very kind and they're very helpful, and they will tell you all about a piece of land. Okay, they'll tell you everything. They'll tell you if it's in the flood zone. They'll tell you if it's marshland. They'll tell you what you can build on there, what you can't build on there. They'll tell you everything that you need to know to understand. Is this property, what can I do with this empty piece of property? Especially if you buy it for yourself or if you're selling it to somebody else, they're gonna wanna know that. Where are the utilities here? How close are things? Like, the zoning department's gonna really help you out. What can I do with this property is the question to ask. What should I know about this? Just call them up. What should I know about this property, and what can I do with this property? 2 very, very, very important questions to ask the zoning department. Number 4, this is something I've learned the hard way. All these, I'm telling you, I go back, we've learned the hard way on this, because I was just progress, not perfection. Be a rhinoceros, just go forward, don't worry about it, and you'll figure these things out. Well, we figured them out, and it cost us. But number 4 is access. Access to the property. Does it have a county-maintained road? Okay, does it? This is important, because these are going to be much easier to sell. Typically, if it doesn't, if it's in the middle of nowhere and there's no access, you know the only person that wants to buy that property is the neighbors that own properties around it. If they don't, then you strike out. People need access, especially if it's really, really rough terrain, which we'll get into that in a second. But if it's rough terrain and they can't access it, it's useless property. So you really, really, really want to look at that. And that leads us to number 5. So the access, you can look, Google Images is going to help you a lot here to look at the lots, especially if they're, by the way, I'm telling you guys all these things in the thought that you're going out and you're buying these properties out in the middle of nowhere, okay? Things are going to be different when you're buying it in town or kind of on the bubble of town. Typically, you know what you can do with the property. Typically, you know that there's utilities there. Typically, you know that these are going to be higher priced properties, and it's going to go through title anyway. You're going to want to make sure that you go through title with anything over, I would say, $3,000 purchase price. Okay, and that's all these same principles apply, especially with the zoning department. Make sure that you can build on it, make sure it's not in a flood zone, make sure all these things. But number 5, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, or even if you're in town, sometimes you gotta make sure you understand the terrain of the property. Believe it or not, at some point, your government split up these lots that were on cliffs. Okay, unless you're gonna start a rappelling company, you know, going down cliffs, these properties are not going to be useful for you, especially if they slope like crazy, or if it's just a sheer mountain, you know what I mean, or a hill or whatever it is. Just be careful. Terrain is so important when you're looking at all these properties, because somebody could want to sell it to you super cheap, but the terrain, you can't do anything with it. I mean, it's literally like useless. So, and I'm sure somebody can find some use. I get it, but it's going to be a small pool of people that can. So just make sure that you're aware of all of these things. Check the title. If it's above 3,000, go through title. Just go through title. Let them tell you everything every obstacle's in your way. Yes, it's gonna cost you more. Yes, it's gonna cut into your profits, but it's gonna save you so much more. I'm telling you, you only need one deal that has like a $50,000 lien, and now you just wasted your money. I'm telling you. So check title, check how much property taxes are owed. Hopefully Alejandro will put these up in some sort of text above or below or something here. Call the zoning department. Make sure you understand what you can do with that property. Access, does it have county maintained access? Okay, critical. And understand what the terrain is. You do those 5 things, you're gonna be in great shape. You're gonna make some really, really good decisions. Go out there, guys. Land is so incredible. Even if you wanna buy it for yourself, enjoy it. Go buy 100 acres somewhere. Get off the grid, unplug. It's amazing, like seriously. But yeah, that's it. Check out those 5 things. That'll keep you away from a lot of the mistakes and issues that I see people running into when they're buying land. And I encourage you to go buy some land because it is amazing and it just feels American. So I don't know. Check it out. Subscribe to this. Hit the alerts. Do whatever it is. We put out 3 videos every single week. It's going to be chock full of the most interesting people in the industry, the most successful people in the industry, and most importantly, give you instructions on how to be a successful real estate entrepreneur. You're amazing. Till next time. See ya.